Howdy everyone, it's me Zombie and welcome back to my Happy Cosplay channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made my legs for my Samus cosplay. A few weeks back I made my Samus shoes and now I'm making the matching leggies. A lot of you guys in the past have asked me how I make my thigh armor and my shin armor, and guys, this is the video for you. I'm going to be showing you exactly how I make everything. Before we get started today, I wanted to announce I will be giving away 3 signed copies of my book, and I want to do it as a charity raffle. My folks live in the middle of nowhere in Nebraska. However, they do have this amazing zoo in Scottsbluff, and it is called the Riverside Discovery Center. It's amazing how much these guys have done with such little resources, and they've done so much good for not only the animals there, they work in conservations, they educate the community about animals, and they have recently taken in 2 teenage bears. Their mom was very unfortunately poached, and they needed a place to stay permanently. The Discovery Center actually already has a lot of the funding, but unfortunately the City Council has cut some of their funding as well. So they really need help. They're trying to do a lot of good with not a lot. So when you donate $5 or more to the Riverside Discovery Center and you send me an email just with a screen cap of your donation, I will enter you in for a raffle to win one of the signed copies of the book. Now, every $5 that you donate is an entry, so if you were to donate $10, you would be entered twice. All the information for the charity raffle will be linked right down below. So without further ado, let's go ahead and head over to the crafting table. I'm gonna start by doodling a pattern for Samus's shins onto some brown paper. For you new folks who haven't seen me do this before, I'm looking at reference photos and then sketching the approximate shape of the armor onto paper. I always draw the shape a bit bigger than I think I need so I can adjust the shape of the pattern as I go along. The shin pieces are symmetrical, so I'll be tracing this 4 times onto some 5mm foam from Lumen's workshop. All the black foam you see me use on the shins was generously provided by them. So thank you, Lumen's workshop, for the generosity and helping me make cool cosplay stuff. Now that the base pieces of the shins are traced, I'm using a sharp craft knife to cut the pieces out. And then I can use my Fordham rotary tool to round the edges. I like rounding the edges of my foam pieces because it makes everything look more smooth and finished. Now I can glue the center pieces together using barge. Barge is super fumey and kinda gross, so make sure that you're using it in a well-ventilated room. I'm gluing an extra piece of 2mm foam inside of each shin piece to reinforce the seam. You don't have to do this, but I choose to since this part of the shin will be under pressure when I walk. Now I'm gluing the top of the back calf part together. Once this is dry, I can use this plastic snow globe ornament and a heat gun to help shape the bubbly calf bit of the armor. Once my calf is satisfyingly bulbous, I can create the back of the shin. I just made this extra piece using craft paper, tracing it onto foam, and gluing it into place with barge. I use the same technique of tracing a pattern, cutting out foam, using a rotary tool, and using barge to attach the knee pieces. I'm using my heat gun and my plastic globe to help shape the knees too. Now that my shins are mostly assembled, it's time to add all those juicy details. I'm laying my shin pattern over the assembled piece and drawing on where the details need to go. It usually takes a couple sketches and adjusting to get the right shapes. Then I'm using a craft knife to cut out the recessed pieces on the pattern. For the circle part, I'm tracing the bottom of my glue bottle so I can get a perfect circle. This weird looking recessed shape appears on both sides of each shin, so I'm tracing it where each shape needs to go. After I have everything traced, I'm using an X-Acto blade and carefully cutting out the recessed parts. And you know what I just thought of? Doing this part before the shins are assembled would have been a lot easier than doing this. But I didn't think of it at the time. If you're watching this about to make your own shins, heed my warning or suffer the curse of leaning over some shin pieces for a while. Anyway, once they were cut out, I used my rotary tool again to round the raw edges. Since these parts are recessed, I created these 2mm foam shapes to glue on the inside of my shins. For the raised details around the circles, I used these handy foam dowels from Lumen's workshop. I love these dowels. In fact, I use them so often, I am constantly running out of them. But as you can see, they work wonderfully for details like this. I'm deciding to get rid of the 2mm foam on the inside of the circles here because I want to make it a bit easier to add lights and covers later. Now it's finally time to paint them. Well, first we gotta prime them, and then we can paint them. For my primer, I'm using a few coats of Plasti Dip spray. I'm using black because it makes the metallic paint I'll be using pop a lot more. Now that my primer is dry, I'm using Rust-Oleum metallic spray paint and champagne mist to coat the shins. Once the paint is completely dry, I'm using my acrylic paint and my airbrush to apply some different colors of gold. I'm primarily using brilliant gold, glorious gold, and bronze to create some depth. For the black and gunmetal details, I'm applying acrylic paint and using different brushes. For weathering, I'm using a fine brush and scrubbing black and dark brown paint into the crevices. And looky there, it's Samus's shins. Now that I made these, you can follow along with how I made Samus's thigh armor too. I used the same technique of making the pattern for the thighs, only I decided to use some SKS 10mm foam. Steve over at SKS sent me this awesome foam as well, so thank you, Steve. I wanted to try this foam for making thighs because I wanted to put it to the test on pieces of armor I know would need to stand up to the pressure of being worn and rubbed together all day. And spoiler alert, it worked great. I made my recessed pieces on my thighs before assembling it this time, which made my life way easier. You live, you learn. I applied the inner leg parts and detail bits the same way as I did with my shins. I also tried them on to see how they felt in the crotchal region. If a part didn't feel right, I cut off the foam and adjusted it as needed. I really wanted to make sure these bits were comfy, because there's nothing worse than chafing in armor. Once they were good to go, I repeated the process of priming and painting these. And now that my leg bits are done, it's time to try on my Samus leggies. And they fit! I will probably adjust some of the paint before the whole cosplay is done, but for now, these are functional and wearable. Yay!
Wow, pretty good job, Mom.
Before we get into the makers of the week, I would love to thank my patrons over on patreon.com/zombiesworkshop. You guys make videos like this possible. So thank you so much for supporting me over there, and if you would like to be a part of the Patreon family, you get access to the Discord community, behind the scenes pics, you get access to my videos and costumes early and all that fun stuff. So thank you again, your support means everything to me. This week's makers of the week include Moxie Fox Cosplay, who made this beautiful Yubaba/Haku cosplay from Spirited Away. She looks amazing. I love the dragon puppet. She made it all herself, and it is the coolest thing ever. So thank you so much for showing me what you made. This blew me away. Or should I say, it spirited me away. I'll leave. Next up we have Dirt Cheap Cosplay, who made this brilliant armor set. It's looking so good. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see all of this like painted and done. It is going to look so over the top and amazing. Thank you for showing me. Last but not least, we have Karkali Cosplay, who made this Brienne of Tarth costume. It's so awesome. You even have her facial expression down. I love the blue and the gray hues. You just pulled everything off so nicely. Thank you so much for showing me. Thank you guys so much for always showing me what you create. It really makes my day. If you have something you're working on, whether it's cosplay or otherwise, I would love to see it. Please show me at Zombies Workshop. I'm on Twitter and Instagram, so I can't wait to see you all over there. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video, I do hope you'll leave a like, a comment. I love talking to you guys down in the comments. It's so much fun. I love also hearing what you guys are making as well. I also hope that you will check out the Riverside Discovery Center's website, donate some dollars to the baby bears, and have a chance to win a book. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again next time. Bye everyone.